With Nikita, Besson returns to familiar territory, questioning the nature of society and morality, the place of the individual within that society, and the potential for personal growth and development. Once again, we are taken underground. Nikita is trained in an underground establishment, and she certainly has to deal with the underworld, a world most of us have little opportunity to see, yet which forms a basis for the world in which most of us live. Nikita is recruited to serve with France's Secret Service. It is suggested they make use of criminal types to protect the interests of the state. Those in authority are portrayed as ruthless but dedicated to their task. They have complete and blind faith in the sanctity of their mission to protect the state at all costs. Clearly, morality has little place in this world, as they do whatever they feel they must do to defend the interests of the citizens of France. To help achieve their aim, they must use people who are willing to kill, or at least whose consciences are unlikely to trouble them. It appears that Nikita fits into this category, as she was responsible for the death of a policeman and a burglary at the age of 19. It is assumed she is psychologically suitable for the necessary work, and she is trained with considerable success after a decidedly weak start, after which she is threatened with death. The representatives of the state offer Nikita a second chance to serve the state. At first she is uncooperative, but she learns discipline for the first time in her life and learns how to learn and develop. However, it appears the state has sorely underestimated Nikita and her capacities. She accepts her position at first, accomplishing a variety of missions for the benefit of the state, including assassinations. She must pay her debt to society, both for the death of the policeman and her second chance. Unfortunately for the state, she evolves into something more than the psychopath tool they thought they were creating. She develops into an independent and self-respecting young woman who has developed a greater sense of morality than her masters. She is willing to perform the tasks set her, but on her own terms, and without violence. Eventually she gains freedom from the Secret Service by using the very techniques in which they trained her, but at a price. She must lose her fiancé Marco and her immediate superior Bob, for whom she had deep feelings. Yet again, love is seen as uncontrollable and perhaps impossible. Nikita enters into a happy and stable relationship with Marco, but at the end of the film we discover her heart belongs to Bob. She is aware that a relationship with Bob would be dangerous and doubtless hurtful to both, so she avoids a physical relationship. However, she can do nothing to prevent the feelings and emotions within her, and she reveals her feelings in a letter left for Bob. Fred lost his life as a result of pursuing his nature and love for Elena. Jacques abandoned his love for Joanna to pursue his nature. Now Nikita has learned to contain her feelings and pursue her future as an independent woman, taking control of her life while recognizing her sentiments but refusing to give in to them. There would appear to be something of a progression in these characters, going from blindly following one's nature to making a conscious choice, to taking control and exercising maturity. The main characters share certain traits, but display an increasingly mature way of dealing with what life throws at them. Nikita is perhaps as much about growing up as it is about the place of the individual in relation to the state, or the nature of love. Nikita evolves more than either Fred or Jacques in the course of the film. She goes from being a lost, animal-like creature doing what is necessary for survival to a mature, disciplined and thoughtful individual who has learned from her experience and who has developed beyond the level of her hypocritical but determined masters. In Subway, society is seen as a morally grey place, with everyone doing what they have to do to survive, but with a fairly clear delineation between goodies and baddies. In Nikita, however, things have become decidedly darker, with the authorities using the same tactics as their enemies to gain the upper hand, albeit in order to fulfill their mission to protect the public. While in Leon, or The Professional, police activities are subverted to suit the ends of the evil police officer Stansfield, the forces of good being used to advance criminal activities. Leon, a professional killer, becomes a protector of the innocent. The world in which Leon operates is the blackest of these four films. He is a professional killer employed by the underworld to resolve its problems in a particularly direct manner. The police, traditionally seen as the protectors of society, are used by the manipulating and cynical Stansfield to promote his criminal plans. No one is innocent in the film except perhaps Matilda, but there is no recourse to justice. Actions are therefore left to the individual's sense of duty and fairness, and it is at this point that Leon discovers within himself feelings of which he was previously unaware, and he takes on the mantle of protector, undergoing the transformation from robotic killer to defender of the innocent. Leon inspires considerable pathos. He is somewhat childlike himself in that he is uneducated, loyal, and unquestioning towards his family in the underworld. He accepts without doubt his missions and exists purely to fulfill his contracts. He appears to have little life beyond his professional activities. He has been trained as a killer and is entirely devoted and obedient to his family. It is only when he encounters Matilda, a relatively innocent 12-year-old whose dubious family falls foul of Stansfield and is to be executed, that Leon's inner feelings of paternal care are awakened. At one point he considers killing her himself, but he can't bring himself to do so. For perhaps the first time he is listening to his own heart and concedes to his own feelings. He is becoming his own man, independent and thoughtful. Once again we witness the themes of personal growth and development, the questioning of the existence of morality and the evolution of feelings of love in spite of ourselves, though in this case there is an even stronger bond. This time the love is more akin to that of a parent and child, with the parent being willing to do anything to protect their child, to the point of self-sacrifice. Love is a catalytic factor in this growth and leads to the discovery of morality and deeper feelings than either is accustomed to. This leads equally to increased self-respect and doubts over past actions, while paternal devotion replaces the previous emptiness of Leon's life and gives him a much-needed purpose and sense of responsibility. While Angela may not be a crowd pleaser or a big money spinner, it is a most worthy addition to Luc Besson's filmography as a director. I found it entertaining, funny, absorbing, touching, thought-provoking and above all, interesting. It is also an abnormally intimate film. The focus is firmly on the two main characters. While the other characters may be in turn amusing, intimidating and even to some extent memorable, they are merely there to shed light upon the main characters or to advance the storyline. There is, however, an essential difference. In his films discussed previously, the main characters were outsiders or loners who challenged society's rules and who struggled to find a place in that society while remaining true to their natures. In Angela, André has succumbed to social pressure and has tried to fit in, only to find himself in trouble. He is an insider, trying or needing to get out. He has not been true to his honest nature, and he has become involved in amoral business dealings, doing deals with shady characters in order to survive. He has tried to fit in and has lied in order to please, and as a result he has lost any sense of worth, in his own eyes as well as in others. Angela arrives when he is at his lowest ebb, when considering suicide, and sets about helping André both directly and by helping him to recover his self-respect. André does not seek to impose his will on society, nor to attack it. He is encouraged by Angela to seek freedom from the imposition of others' wills, and not to be controlled. This freedom is to be gained through self-respect and the rejection of others' views of him. André is persuaded by Angela's belief in him, not by the fact that she is an angel. Indeed, the implications of this, morality, soul, afterlife, are largely ignored. At the end of the film, the situation is rather turned on its head as André asks Angela to gain her freedom from God. He invites her to leave God out of it, and to make her own decisions and follow her own feelings. Both André and Angela need saving and redirection. He from the emptiness of lying and scheming, and she from the emptiness of having no attachments or any real sense of value. Once again, love leads to freedom and self-respect, and in this case, freedom from being owned or intimidated by others. They end up belonging to themselves and one another. Of course, on the way to this end, there is a process of self-discovery with life lessons galore, the whole being told with an entertaining mixture of humour and purpose. He is invited to keep things in proportion and to keep his eye on the bigger picture, rather than become over-anxious about relatively minor problems. He is reminded of the values he held, but which he lost sight of in his desire to succeed in society, and he is reminded that success in an amoral and self-centred society is perhaps success without value. Angela wants André to cease living in fear and to see beyond the projected self-image of others, and to recognise equality among men. We all role-play in society. We all play parts in others' lives, but André has allowed himself to be governed by others' perceptions and has compromised to such an extent that he has virtually caved in and given up on himself. Angela helps him gain self-respect and recognise weaknesses as well as strengths in others. Thus he no longer feels inferior. In the end, he has been freed from fear and the need to accommodate others. He has learned to recognise his own value and break from his former vision of society and his place in it. It seems to me that the 6 films we have discussed present various takes on the principles of existentialism. They are set in extreme conditions or are played out with extreme characters, but that only serves to accentuate the points being made. The films present interesting and thought-provoking observations on life and society, and as such are to be highly commended. There is a progression in the development of the themes in the course of these 6 Besson-directed films, with society and morality depicted as being in a steady decline, while the main characters develop their own sense of morality, justice and self-worth, perhaps suggesting that ultimately society depends on the values of the individuals within it, and every man or woman must learn to reflect on what is important to him or her. My thanks for taking the time to watch these videos. I hope you found them of some value.